Hi folks. What just struck me was a very interesting point. What just came into my head was we want a king. And we want a king was the Israelites. They had God. They had all the victories when they focused on the solution rather than the problem. When they focused on God being the solution. When they focused on another kingdom being the solution, they lost. When they focused on their strength, they lost. When they focused on God, they had victory. And they asked for a king, and God said, you don't need a king, you've got me. And yet they kept on asking and demanding for a king. Why? Because the rest of the world had kings. They'd rather do things the world's way. We see this as an example of how idiotically stupid God's people can be. Also as a warning of how idiotically stupid God's people can be. A warning to God's people throughout history, certainly since that point in time. Certainly when everyone had a Bible, when everyone could read the Word of God, and could read the example of the Israelites having God, having victory after victory after victory after victory after victory. And as soon as they got a king, suddenly everything went wrong. It was a trap. The devil had laid a trap for the Israelites. The leaders of the church didn't at any time think that maybe, just maybe, that could happen to the church as well. Didn't think that maybe we needed to be aware of that, or of the temptations that the devil would bring to the church. I say, go back and have a look at that film. The film that talks about the what's it called? Jesus Revolution. The Jesus Revolution, I think it's called. Have a watch of that. You can see in that film, even though they're not trying to show you that, but you can see in that film exactly when the SHIT really hit the fan for the church and how they went completely and utterly the wrong way. How they were tempted by the devil to bring in ways that were absolutely and totally not of God into the church. Things that were very much of the world. When Times magazine has a title saying, "Is God dead?" That's going to get a reaction from the church, isn't it? They're going to want to change things. They're going to want to do things differently in order to show the world, well, God isn't dead. Yes? Let's say the one thing they're not going to do, because it takes time, they're not going to go to God and wait on God for God to tell them what needs to be done. They won't do that because it takes time. Anyone who's ever waited on God knows that waiting on God takes time. To get answers from God, it takes time. Because quite often, we're not in a position to receive, and God has to get us into a position where we can receive the answer. If we're not ready, then that can take time. And so, yeah, here we are in the same situation as the Israelites were in after God let them have a king. And yeah, this is where we are. This is a situation. Now, as I say, it is, even now, all those years later, from after the Israelites got a king, probably about 3,000 years later, they could get God back as a nation in a second. In a second. They could get God back as their God in a second. All it would take would be a decision. And it's exactly the same for each church. Not for the church, but for each church. Because the point of it is, right now, there's a misunderstanding of what the church is, and there has been for a long time. The church, from most people's points of view, is the Catholic Church, the C.A.V. Church, or the Anglican Church, the Charismatic Churches, the Pentecostal Churches, United Reformed Churches, Evangelical Churches, Salvation Army Churches, and pretty much all churches. Some may even put in Jehovah's Witnesses and Church of Latter-day Saints in with those numbers. But all Baptists as well, obviously. But I say, none of that is true. None of that is true. The Baptist Church is not the Church of God, and not even within the Church of God, not the whole of the Baptist Church. Some people from the Baptist Church are part of God's church. But yeah. Anyway, back to the point. So yes, we are where we are. So there you go. But as I said, it's not too late for each individual church to get right with God, and to have God being their God and being the one in control. It takes a decision, nothing more. As soon as you make that decision, God is in control. God is the one in control of that church. As soon as you make that decision, you don't have to do everything you need to do, because God knows as soon as you make the right decision, you will do everything you need to do. Because you're ready. Because you made that decision. And that's the same individually as a person as well. So there you go. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.